What's going on? What's up? What's good? Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now, and we're live right here on Chat Sports, emanating from Studio I in the Chat Sports Studios. My name is Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. It is a Wednesday, July 23rd, and the Eagles just got off the practice field for their first practice of training camp. Philadelphia, the defending Super Bowl champions, reporting yesterday all 90 members of this Eagles team on hand for the start of training camp. No drama, no holdouts, a 100% attendance rate for Philadelphia as they look to defend their Super Bowl championship. And practice number 1 is officially in the books. Coming up here on the show, going to give you live Eagles training camp updates as right now players and coaches speaking with the media for the first practice of training camp from the NovaCare Complex in South Philadelphia. Before we continue to push forward on today's show, be sure to lock us in. Hit that subscribe button here on Eagles Now and continue to join the movement and the empire that is the program here. What you get when you subscribe to the channel. Eagle shows coming your way every day. At this point, we're doing multiple shows every single day. Long-form content and short-form content by way of YouTube Shorts. We'll be live for some training camp practices like we are right now. If you're watching after the fact, thanks for being here. We'll be doing watch parties for all Eagles games, preseason and regular season. And our content strategy, reactions, news, rumors, analysis. Anytime there's breaking news, we have you covered. Anytime there's a juicy report or a juicy rumor, we're always dissecting it right here on the show as well. And there's a reason. The proof is in the pudding. Why we have such a large fan base and subscriber base. We're closing in on 123,000 subscribers. I believe that what we give you is very unique, entertaining, insightful, informative, and very special here on Eagles Now. I do want to hear from you. We have 100 people watching already. As you come in here, be sure to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. But you always take center stage as the viewer of this show. We like to call all of our legends real ones here on the program. Use the hashtag Eagles or send in a super chat. When you do that, we want to interact with you. You got something to say, you got thoughts on your mind about the birds, we always want to put you at the forefront of our coverage. So use the hashtag Eagles in your comments or send in a super chat so that you can get involved. And if you do send in a super chat, it goes a long way in supporting everything that we do. It's basically like sending a tip to a bartender. All super chats get a shout out. If you send in a $5 super chat, we're going to give you a Go Birds. If you send in a $20, we're going to do an Eagles chant. I'm here with producer Chip, the legend that he is. He's on the ones and twos here today, as he is every day. If you send in a $50 super chat, we're going to sing Fly Eagles Fly. And if you send in a $100 super chat, I'm going to send you an Eagles Now hat. You get to rep the birds and support the channel. YouTube is also doing something new where they want to make the live chats more entertaining. They want to make live streams a little bit different than in years past. They have this YouTube Top Fans feature. And the best way that I can kind of explain this, the more comments that you send in, the more super chats that you send in, you get to climb up our YouTube Top Fans leaderboard. And so it all gets compiled by XP. These are points that you gain as a viewer here of the show. So the more comments that you send in, the more that you'll shoot up that leaderboard. You see Peter Thurman right here. He has 75 XPs. Then you have STP. He's tied with Peter Thurman at 75 XP. And then you have Trey Lasado, who's also there as well. But because Peter Thurman always interacts with the show, because he has a long history of sending in super chats, he has that purple crown. For instance, if somebody were to send in a $50 super chat right now, you would shoot all the way up that leaderboard. And so we are always going to feature our top fans here on the show as well. All right, we're about to recap day 1 of Eagles training camp practice. If you're ready to talk some birds, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. No other Eagles channel is live right now for training camp. So let's get some more people in here. And let's talk about the Eagles being on the practice field as football is back. Peter Thurman sending in a $5 super chat. He said, let's go. Peter, hope all is well. Great to meet him. Following the Eagles Super Bowl parade in Philly back in February. He's rocking a Chat Sports Real One shirt at Lincoln Financial Field in the profile picture. You got to love it. Thank you so much for the 5. And with that 5, go Birds! All right, if you're ready to talk some Birds, 100 people watching live, 33 likes. Let's get that like number up to 50, and I guarantee you more people are going to discover the stream, and they're going to hop on in here. Jalen Hurts talking right now. 1,500 people watching on the Eagles YouTube channel. Let's try to catch them. Never scared of some competition. All right, segment number 1 is about to get underway. We have some major Eagles injury news, and we are going to react in full to practice number 1 for Philadelphia as training camp is officially underway. Hey there, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. Coming up, we have major Eagles injury news with training camp officially underway. The Birds reported to training camp yesterday. Today, their first official practice of 2025 training camp. And we also have, speaking of practice, Day 1 practice reactions from everything that transpired in South Philadelphia today. Before we accomplish all of that and dive in, join the movement, subscribe to the channel, and what you get at the end of the day is the best Eagles coverage right here on YouTube. We're currently sitting at 122,807 subscribers worldwide. And we have people who support this show and tune into this show from every pocket of America and worldwide. Our goal for today is to get to 123,000 subscribers. We're 193 people away from that number. Now that training camp is here, preseason around the corner, regular season is going to be here before we know it, we are going to give you the best coverage that we've ever given you in the history of this channel, so lock us in right now. Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni did speak this morning. Here's a photo of them conducting their press conference to officially kick off training camp. And they gave us some pretty big injury news and developments on the injury front. Linebacker Nakobe Dean, he will start training camp on PUP. That is the physically unable to perform list. And Jihaad Campbell, rookie first-round pick, who the Birds moved up to take at 31 overall, is a full go. That is very significant because earlier this offseason during the pre-draft process, he underwent a shoulder surgery to repair a labrum injury, but he was on the practice field today, and he was a limited participant. And for a team that played deep into last year and played all the way into February and had a shorter offseason, think about it, right? Eagles wrap up the regular season, playoffs get underway. They played 4 playoff games, wild card round, divisional round, NFC championship game, then the Super Bowl. Then they hopped right into the NFL Combine. Right after that was the start of free agency. Then the draft, then rookie minicamp, then OTAs, then mandatory minicamp. Training camp is here. That is a very condensed offseason. And so the Eagles last year were remarkably healthy. I thought this training staff did a fantastic job. And in this Nick Sirianni regime, the Eagles have been some of the healthiest teams in the National Football League. 21 of 22 day 1 starters from opening night against the Packers in Brazil started in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. When the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl in 2022, all 22 opening day starters played in that game in Super Bowl 57. And so last year they were healthy. Going into this year, they're also extremely healthy. Sometimes when you have that Super Bowl run, you're a little bit beat up because the recovery time period is a lot shorter. Not the case for Philadelphia as they enter their Super Bowl defense. And starting off with Nakobe Dean, I think that this video that he posted on Instagram is a great sign. Now you will see he has that huge scar on his knee from that patellar tendon injury. But in speaking of his recovery, and by looking at this video, I think that he is well ahead of schedule. That patellar tendon injury is a very difficult one to recover from because it includes the knee, but it also includes the quad. And so when you tear your ACL, for instance, you can be walking shortly after that surgery, and you can start to do some light jogging and then some running drills. But with that quad injury included, with the patellar tendon, you need to stay off of that leg. And so it can atrophy pretty quickly. But for Nakobe Dean, we have now seen multiple instances throughout this offseason of him posting workout videos, and he is looking really, really good. That's an awesome sign. Now, he suffered that patellar tendon injury in the wild card round against Green Bay. Sometimes it can take players 12 to 16 months to come off of that type of in-depth surgery. I think that he's going to miss a decent amount of time to start the year, but this is a good sign here. As for Jihaad Campbell, remember that report from Albert Breer in the pre-draft process when he said teams had red flags on Campbell because of shoulder and knee injuries? He wasn't really able to do much in the pre-draft because of the labrum surgery. But for him the last few weeks, he's been ramping up his physical conditioning. He's looked good. Some rip moves and some of the offseason workouts. Here he is as a limited participant in practice. And so he's going to have an opportunity to maybe seize significant snaps at that linebacker 2 role alongside Zach Baun, even though Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's entering a big year too, and Vic Fangio loves him, got some first-team reps today. But this just helps out the Eagles' depth concerns and depth issues at that off-ball linebacker spot that Campbell is where he is. Because during the spring, Vic Fangio had said he's not going to be on the practice field for a while. But to start training camp, Jihaad Campbell pretty much full go. And that's a video of him from John Clark of NBC Sports Philadelphia doing some drills with his fellow linebackers today. Elsewhere on the Eagles injury report, Jalen Carter, shoulder injury. Did not participate in practice today. Not believed to be serious, but that is something that we're going to continue to monitor. Offensive guard Kenyon Green also did not practice with a knee ailment. He obviously came back to Philadelphia in that C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade. Jihaad Campbell, as I mentioned, limited participant. So, too, was Cam Jurgens, coming off that back injury that he suffered in the playoffs last year. The Eagles clearly thought that back in a pretty good spot to make him one of the highest-paid centers in all of football. Jalen Carter was on hand for Eagles practice today. He said hello to some of the reporters who were taking videos of players walking onto the practice field. Big year for him. He solidified himself last year as one of the top overall defensive players in the game, a disruptive force at defensive tackle. That's why he was a second-team All-Pro. He plays well in 2025 like he did in 2024. He's going to demand a contract when he's extension eligible next offseason between $30 and $40 million per season. Jason Kelsey, legendary podcaster, legendary center, future Hall of Famer if you ask me, and one of the best Eagles players of all time, on hand for Eagles training camp in an assistant coach role. Here he is alongside new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, who steps in for Kellen Moore. Also, this is trending too. How about Jordan Davis and how he looks? This is the best shape that he has been in. Now, when training camp gets underway, everybody always talks about best shape of life season. And that is a common theme when training camp gets underway. Everybody's in great shape. But by the looks of it, compared to how he looked as a rookie when he was 6'6", 340 pounds, he is slimmed up, he has fallen in love with Peloton, and Jordan Davis looks great. And there he is dapping up Clint Hurt, Eagles defensive line coach, who I thought did a great job in helping these young defensive linemen develop. Jordan Davis entering a big year. Eagles exercise his fifth-year option that guarantees his salary for this year and next year. The Eagles did not give him an extension, but if he plays well in 2025, he could get a bag next offseason too. And the better shape that he's in and the better player that he is, the better that the Eagles are as a defensive unit, because he's such a unique player at that size with that skill set. And he really came on last year. Midway point of the year, really started to kick it into gear. And then in the NFL playoffs, he was one of the highest graded defensive linemen in all of football. we can continue to move forward on today's show because we have some training camp videos that we want to continue to show you. Here is the reigning Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley, running onto the practice field. He said today, the hardest thing about rushing for 2,000 yards in back-to-back years is the fact that rushing for 2,000 yards in general is very, very difficult. Throughout the spring, he had said, I feel as though I'm just entering my prime. This offseason, he tried to manage his workload a little bit better. And in the spring, to start training camp, he looks excellent. A healthy Saquon Barkley completely transforms this Eagles offense because of the one-of-one player that he is. We also have a clip of Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl MVP, fresh off of a trip to Greece, hanging out with Michael Jordan, going onto the practice field. Hurts to kick off training camp, had a pretty good practice coming off a spring in which he was slicing and dicing that Eagles defense and very, very accurate. Another note, no contract drama, no contract situations for Philadelphia, no holdouts at all. The Eagles' entire 90-man roster on hand for the start of training camp. That is not the case for a lot of other teams across the NFL. And Howie Roseman today talked about the benefit of paying players early as compared to waiting. You add drama, you take the focus away from football, and you can cost yourselves millions of dollars. See the Dallas Cowboys with Micah Parsons. Coming up next here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, day one, training camp practice reaction. Some players getting run with the first team who performed well with the start of training camp underway. That's coming up here in just a moment, and then we'll get to your Super Chats as well. I do want to tell you about this fantastic deal thanks to our friends at Fanatics. You will see coaches wear these cutoff hoodies. Bill Belichick made them famous back in the day. I think it's a badass look, and they're on sale right now thanks to Fanatics. They were $55, now on sale for just $33. All you have to do, use that link down below. Chatsports.com/Eagles Cutoff. We'll put that link down below in the show notes. We'll put it in the comment section attached to the pinned comment. Get that deal now while it lasts. As for some Eagles practice observations, takeaways as part of our practice reaction, Cooper DeJean with the first string defense started off at safety. Very notable there. Tyler Steen starting off with the first stringers at right guard. It is his job to lose as a former third-round pick. He's going to be competing with a couple of other players along that offensive line, like Matt Pryor, maybe Cameron Williams, maybe Trevor Keegan, who the Eagles drafted out of Michigan in the 2024 draft. But it is Tyler Steen's job to lose as he tries to replace Mekhi Becton. When the Eagles did shift to their nickel defense, Vic Fangio messed with the lineup. And this is something that the Eagles did a lot in the spring. This is something that they did a lot last year, where Cooper DeJean went to the slot, and then Sidney Brown started off alongside Reed Blankenship at that safety position, with Nakobe Dean hurt, landing on pup. Jihaad Campbell running with the twos. He's a rookie. Needs to get caught up. Didn't do anything in the spring for the most part. It was Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Axeman Jr., the son of the former All-Pro for the Eagles in the early 2000s under Jim Johnson, who was the first-team linebacker up with Zach Bond. Vic Fangio loves Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because he loves the game of football. He said that he studied film every single day during the offseason. He's a student of the game. I think Vic really likes his instincts, his feel. You can tell that he is a football player's son, has a high football IQ. I thought toward the end of last year, when he got some opportunities to play with this defense, he played well. He made some wow plays, and then he made the most of his reps as a special teamer as well. Keely Ringo started off with the first-team defense at right outside corner, opposite of Quinion Mitchell. He is competing with Adoree Jackson to lock down that starting outside corner role. A.J. Dillon got some first-team reps before Will Shipley did. Of note, it's the first day of practice at Eagles training camp. But RB2 is one of those sneaky good training camp battles that I'm excited to see how it plays out throughout the course of training camp and in the preseason, because Will Shipley today broke off a long run. He has a lot of juice out of that backfield. Rookie Drew Kendall, who had so much experience as an all-ACC player for Boston College as a center, whose dad played in the NFL, has overtaken Brett Toth as the second-string center behind Cam Jurgens. Brett Toth really struggled throughout the spring, and I made a prediction then. I think that Drew Kendall will be the backup center behind Cam Jurgens. Clearly, the Eagles coaching staff pretty impressed. Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach, because Kendall is already the backup to Cam Jurgens. Kyle McCord, another one of my predictions. I predicted him to make the roster as QB3 ahead of DTR. Well, up first in drills after Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee at QB3, the rookie 6th-round pick out of Syracuse, who hails from South Jersey and was a state champion at St. Joe's Prep in Philadelphia. I just think that McCord has higher upside, more potential, and is already the better passer than DTR, who gives the Eagles something that McCord doesn't, and that's the ability to run the RPO and make plays happen with his legs, because Kyle McCord has good pocket mobility, but he doesn't have a lot of speed or running ability. Quinyon Mitchell, off to a good start. I think that this year he could solidify himself as a Pro Bowl player or an All-Pro player. I thought it was so impressive how ESPN's top 10 cornerback rankings featured Quinyon Mitchell at number 9 based upon the opinions of execs, coaches, and scouts. Clearly, people across the league very impressed with what Quinyon did as a rookie, as he shot down and shut down some of the top wide receivers in football. Well, today, matched up against A.J. Brown, had a pass breakup on one of the top wide receivers in the game. Tanner McKee, I think he's one of the top backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I think that at some point, he can be a starter for another team. He throws with great touch, timing, anticipation, and accuracy. Really good size at 6'5", 6'6", makes quick decisions with the ball. He had a long touchdown pass to Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall had a really good spring, has an opportunity to make this club at wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, alongside Danny Gray, Anaya Smith, and Johnny Wilson. That coverage was good coverage from Keely Ringo, but it was a perfect throw from Tanner McKee. That's what you call good defense, but better offense. Andrew Nakobe, who just signed his contract earlier this week as a second-round pick, got first-team reps at safety. He'll be competing with Sidney Brown, Lewis Seen, Tristan McCullum, and Andre Sam to be that starting safety next to Reed Blankenship. And Jalen Hunt, working off of the momentum from last year, where he played so well at the end of the year, he was awesome in the playoffs, and then in the Super Bowl, he dominated that Chiefs offensive line, able to provide pressure and sack Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Mailata said today that Jalen Hunt is going to be a star, and he said that Hunt has Micah Parsons' tendencies as a pass rusher. Remember, Jalen Hunt was a safety at Cornell, transferred to Houston Baptist, where he became an edge rusher. He is raw at that position, but the learning curve is being shortened because of how well he's playing. He had a sack of Jalen Hurts in 11-on-11s. Ben Van Sumeren, who has made the full-time switch to fullback, no longer a linebacker, although he'll contribute there as a special teamer, got a carry at fullback with the third-string offense. Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie said this offseason, we want to resurrect the fullback position. Ben Van Sumeren going to be a part of that. When he went to Michigan, then Michigan State, coming out of high school, he was a fantastic athlete. You see that on display. And before he got hurt last year, the Eagles were incorporating him more and more as a fullback. And I thought it added a pretty interesting dynamic to this Eagles offense. Jalen Hurts dropped the dime to A.J. Brown against Keely Ringo. Once again, good coverage from Ringo, but a better throw from Jalen Hurts as that connection is off to a really good start. It's one of the best QB wide receiver duos in the National Football League. A.J. Brown did say this on receiving his Super Bowl ring. We talked about the quote yesterday when he said, I know it's going to be hard, but we got to do this again. Quote, probably one of the best feelings I've experienced. I truly felt like a true champion. I only came for the ring. I didn't eat. That ring was speechless, man. Trying to find something to do with it right now. Good stuff here with training camp underway. That does it for our injury news segment and training camp reaction. In addition to always talking about the Eagles here on YouTube, I'm always talking Eagles on social media. If you haven't given me a follow over there, do so right now. I'm on X and IG at Chase_Senior, reaching millions of people on social media, reaching millions of people here on YouTube. What's up? Oh! with a $50 super chat. I really think wide receiver 3 should be Terrace Marshall. Wasn't given much of an opportunity in Carolina. Very good at LSU. Eli Rick should be in a position battle. Talented. Has been with the Eagles for a couple of years. What is your opinion, brother? Paul C., thank you so much for that super chat. We're about to do a mailbag, so stay tuned because I'm going to go in depth with my answer, and that's coming up just around the corner because myself and Chip, we need to be out of here in about a half hour because we're getting some sushi with some new coworkers here at Chat Sports. Fazell Mack, welcome back, my guy. Good to hear from you. How do you feel about Saquon being on the cover of Madden this year? I will also respond to that here momentarily. And then Jacob B. with the $2 super chat. Do you think the Eagles are going to go back-to-back as far as winning the Super Bowl? Again, going to answer these here coming up in our mailbag. But I do think that Philadelphia is a wonderful opportunity to win a Super Bowl. If they stay healthy, I know the schedule is going to be hard, but they're battle-tested, and they still have one of the deepest, most talented rosters in the NFL with one of the best owner-general manager combinations. And this coaching staff, I think, is elite as well. So here's another look at our YouTube top fans. You compile points by commenting for free and sending in super chats, big-time donations. With that $50 super chat, Louisiana Paul Caspone, now has 2,500 XP points, right? So he shoots to number 1 on the leaderboard. Peter Thurman has been commenting a lot. He sent in a $5 super chat. He bumps down to number 2. So the bigger the super chat that you send in, the more that you will climb that leaderboard as far as our Eagles Now YouTube top fans. And here we are at $62 in super chats. Can we get to over 100? If we do that, we're going to celebrate that here on the show. Now, here's a look at our super chat menu. All super chats, as always, get a shout out. You send in a 5, we're going to give you a Go Birds. For Fazell Mack a little bit earlier, Go Birds! A $20 super chat. We're going to do an EAGLES Eagles chant for a 50. We got to sing Fly Eagles Fly. That's coming up here in a moment. And if somebody sends in a $100 super chat, I'm going to send you a Philadelphia Eagles Now hat, which we have right here. If you want to support the show, rep the birds, and let other people know what we do here is very special, Eagles Now snapback hats are available. You send in a $100 super chat right now, I'm going to send you an Eagles Now hat. All right, Chip, we got to do it. Paul, sending in a $50 super chat.
Let's go.
We're going to rub people in our office the wrong way because they're like, oh, the Eagles, they're so insufferable with their fans. Who cares? Nobody likes us. We don't care. And we're champs. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fight, Eagles, fight. Score a touchdown, 1, 2, 3. Hit 'em low, hit 'em high, and watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! I'll tell you what, Chip. It is awesome to sing that song again.
It's been a minute, man.
It's been a little while.
It's been a minute.
But we're back with the vengeance, and man, that gets me juiced up for the upcoming season. All right, so we have some super chats that we'll include with our mailbag. Chip, do we have other questions with people who use the hashtag Eagles?
We got one from Trey Lusado. We got a couple from Jacob B. super chats. Paul super chat. Fazell Max super chat. Probably use like one or two more questions.
All right, awesome. Oh! Peter Thurman with the $50 super chat. He says, did someone call Philly? Peter with the 50 piece. Now we got to take a look at our updated YouTube Top Fans leaderboard. Chip, you might have to refresh it.
Yeah, I just got to go back out and back in every time.
But let's see where Peter Thurman is now and how many points he has.
Uh-oh!
We have a new number 1. With that 50, it's Peter Thurman, our new number 1. What is that, 2,825?
Yep.
Yeah, 2,825 points for Peter Thurman following the 50. And then Paul is at 2,500, so right behind him. That's awesome. Fazell Mack coming in at number 3, 250 XPs. You can gather points by commenting as well. Jacob B with the $2 super chat. Eagles always have an easy week 1 game. Are you telling me that week 1 against the Packers last year was an easy game in Brazil? Are you telling me that week 1 against the Cowboys is going to be a cupcake easy game? I don't think so. I wouldn't chalk it up as just an easy affair. Paul, a 20. We need to hear the No One Likes Us song. Well, since Peter sent in that 50, you sent in that 20, and we just did Fly Eagles Fly, we can do No One Likes Us, We Don't Care right before we get into our mailbag. And sorry, what'd you say? Are we good on questions or no?
We could use like one or two more.
Okay, yeah.
Just
use
a
the
couple more
hashtag Eagles.
questions.
Send in a super chat to be a part of the mailbag. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're the Eagles, the fucking Eagles. No one likes us. We don't care. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Let's go. Up to $134 in super chats.
And with that,
Gotta love
20. Paul C. takes the lead right back from Peter Thurman.
Paul C. now atop the YouTube Top Fans leaderboard. Peter Thurman bumps down to number 2. Somebody sends in a big-time super chat. You're going to skyrocket up that leaderboard. All right. Use the hashtag Eagles or send in a super chat. We have a mailbag coming up right now to round out our live coverage. Day 1 of training camp reaction live here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Also, do me a favor. We're at 85 likes. Get the stream up to 100 likes. We're 15 away. If you're enjoying what we're doing, be sure to hit that thumbs up icon. Like the video. Shout out to the recent commenter club. I see Big Dom. What's up, Big Dom? See, Big Dom even watches the show. Peanut Breath, Lai Win, Kelly Gasky, Spence King Gaming, Kane Angel is back, Pokey Spiel, Billy Blue Bills, and Earth on the comment section right now. Shout out to all of you. How about that? Already up to 92 likes. Get the stream to 100, and let's get it. All right, we'll round out with the Philadelphia Eagles mailbag, taking your questions, taking your hot takes, taking your comments, and we're reacting to those here on the live show as well.
I love that from John Galt. We'll definitely include that.
Peter Thurman, I will be rocking my Eagles Now hat. Hey, we sent Peter an Eagles Now hat back a couple of months ago. John Galt, will you guys make Tom Downey watch in the studio when the Eagles raise that banner at Broad and Pattison? Oh, I like that idea. We might have to tap into his live stream and play it here on the show with his reaction to the Eagles hoisting that Super Bowl banner right in front of Jarrett and the Cowboys. 5 likes away from 100. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. And let's dive into our mailbag right now as we answer your questions over the next several minutes. When Chip is ready to rock, we'll be ready to rock. And let's go. Yo, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. By the time that you're watching this mailbag, I hope everybody out there is having a fantastic weekend. And no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. We're going to be taking questions from our Real One viewers and all of our loyal subscribers talking all things Eagles. And if you want to be a part of our mailbags, hit that subscribe button. With training camp here, preseason getting underway here very quickly. Regular season is going to be here in a blink. You do not want to miss our coverage because our coverage is going to be the best in the history of this show. We're ramping it up a notch because we have a standard to live up to. And what you get when you hit that subscribe button, Eagles shows every single day. We do long-form content. short form content by way of YouTube Shorts. We do live shows and watch parties. We'll be live for training camp practices. We'll be doing watch parties for every single Eagles game this year. Reactions, news, analysis. Anytime there's a big report or a big rumor, you already know. We're going to be talking about it here on the show. And right now, we're closing in on 123,000 subscribers. Help us get there. Join the movement and join the bullet train. That is Philadelphia Eagles Now. We begin with a $50 donation in Super Chat, thanks to our legend, Paul C. And he has a couple of things that he wants to talk about here. Number one, I really think wide receiver 3 should be Terrace Marshall. Wasn't given much of an opportunity in Carolina, but he was very good at LSU. Let me react to that first. So I don't think that Terrace Marshall is going to be wide receiver 3. I do think Terrace Marshall has a great opportunity to earn a roster spot on the 53 as wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 5. And I think that Terrace Marshall and Danny Gray will be competing with 2 draft picks from last year, Aniyah Smith and Johnny Wilson, for the final 2 roster spots at the wide receiver position. Day 1 of Eagles training camp, Terrace Marshall caught a long ball from Tanner McKee that worked off of what he did in the spring, where he impressed a lot of people. And Terrace Marshall is an interesting player. 6'2", over 200 pounds, so he has size. But coming out of LSU, he ran a 4.4 40-yard dash. So he can go up and get it. He has a physical element to his game, but he can really run. He came through in the red zone throughout mandatory minicamp and OTA. So he can be utilized there. And you're kind of right, Paul. When he went to Carolina, he never was able to find his footing as a player after being a second-round pick. He was a huge contributor on the 2019 LSU National Championship team, which is one of the most loaded college football teams of all time. I think it might go down as the best college football team of all time. He was a go-to target and player for Joe Burrow that year. But in going to Carolina, one of the worst organizations in the game, he wanted to get traded. They didn't trade him. Then they let him go. Latched on with the Niners. Couldn't do anything there. Went to the Raiders last year. Wasn't used a lot. But with the Eagles, they have one of the most well-run organizations in the game, and they're great right now. Player development. Can Terrace Marshall capitalize on that? Danny Gray, on the other hand, is a guy who's a former third-round pick by the Niners who can run 4.3. So look out for those 2 players to compete with Aniyah Smith and Johnny Wilson for wide receiver 4 and wide receiver 5. The next portion of what Paul had to say, Eli Ricks should be in a position battle. He's talented, and he's been with the Eagles for a couple of years. I thought as a rookie in 2023, he played well. When he was coming out of high school, he was one of the most sought-after, highly touted recruits in the entire country. Starts off at LSU, then he goes to Alabama. With Alabama, he played pretty well. Not good enough to be drafted, but he is long. He can run. I think that he has some talent to his game. And right now, it's Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson competing to start at outside corner on the perimeter, opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. But I think that Eli Ricks can work himself to a point where he can get some snaps defensively this year. For him, I think that if he can show that he can contribute on special teams, that'll help him out a lot. And then lastly, what did Paul say to round out that $50 super chat? Okay, just that. What's your opinion, brother? Well, there you go, Paul. You send in that $50 super chat. Anytime somebody will spend their hard-earned money to donate to the show, we're going to go in-depth and give you a great answer. Fazell Mack with the $5 super chat. How do you feel about Saquon being on the cover of Madden this year? You know, it's an interesting question. I think that when you look at the course of the Madden cover and the history of it, there have been curses, there have been non-curses. I kind of chalk it up to it not being a conspiracy theory, it not being a real thing. I just think that in football, there's physicality, and injuries happen. And you never know when those injuries are going to happen. So there have been a lot of Madden curses as far as players on the cover being injured. But there was also a run prior to Christian McCaffrey last year of 4 or 5 years of there not being a Madden curse. Saquon Barkley is running behind the best offensive line in football that helps him stay healthy. He is a unique, one-of-one, dynamic athlete who really takes care of his body. a big emphasis for him this offseason was to limit the wear and tear on his body coming off a year last year where, yes, he was top 5 in MVP voting. He won Offensive Player of the Year. But he had the most carries in the NFL. The Eagles used him like a thoroughbred workhorse. Smarty Jones, Barbaro back in the day, to show some love to Philly area horses. Type Real One, if you're familiar with those horses, who were terrific in their horsing careers. But I'm just a Philly guy. But with Saquon, yeah, he has the injury history. It's going to be 29 in February, but takes care of his body, puts an emphasis on being in tip-top shape. In the spring, he looked great. He said that he felt great. Kevin Patullo said, for how much he was utilized last year, I can't believe how fresh and spry he looks. Running behind this Eagles offensive line with Jalen Hurts in that backfield, that benefits him. But injuries happen in pro football. So you got to be ready. And if he were to go down, Will Shipley, A.J. Dillon, it's your time. Now, do I think that Saquon is going to rush for 2,000 yards in back-to-back years? I don't. Because the hit rate of doing that is 0. No player has ever done it. But if he can stay healthy, I think he'll still be the best running back in football, and he's still capable of running for 1,500-plus yards. Jacob B. It's also cool from a marketability standpoint to have an Eagles player on the cover. Plus him leaping over the Jags defender, one of the most legendary plays of last year. That's very cool, too. Jacob B., do you think the Eagles are going back-to-back and winning another Super Bowl? I think the Eagles have a great shot to win a second consecutive ring. And I've said this a lot here on the show. Given that Jeffrey Lurie is the owner, best owner in football, given that Howie Roseman is the Eagles GM, best GM in the NFL, given that this coaching staff is loaded, Nick Sirianni is the top 5 head coach, Vic Fangio, one of the top defensive coordinators, if not number 1, there have been no changes to the defensive staff. That helps from a continuity standpoint. On offense, yes, Kevin Patullo replaces Kellen Moore, but I'm a lot more confident in Patullo heading into 2025 than I was in Brian Johnson going into 2023. He's been with Sirianni since 2021. He's been around Sirianni, and that's with the Eagles since 2021. He's been with Sirianni, and they've overlapped since like 2018 when they were working together with the Colts. When I interviewed Kevin Patullo, I liked what I heard as far as what his offensive philosophy is. I think that he's going to bring some creative wrinkles and new concepts to this Eagles offense. The increase in pre-snap motion last year compared to the prior year when the Eagles were dead last was a great wrinkle from Kellen Moore. I think that Kellen Moore maybe taught Kevin Patullo about the importances of that. I think Nick Sirianni learned about what can happen when you don't adapt and adjust from 2023 to now 2025. The Eagles offense from 2022 to 2023, they did nothing different. And Nick Sirianni even said, I don't think it's about evolving. I think it's mastering what we do to a point where we can do it better. That mindset is completely different going into 2025. Nick Sirianni has said, look, I'm not doing a book tour after winning a Super Bowl. I'm not doing all of these public appearances. I'm trying to focus on how we can adapt and evolve as a football unit. Me, as a coach, what changes can we make to stay fresh so that the league can't catch up to us? And I thought that the league really caught up to Philadelphia's offense in 2023 because they didn't adjust at all. And so offensively, there will be a little bit of a learning curve. But owner, GM, coaching staff, roster-wise, this Eagles roster coming off that Super Bowl win last year is still young. All of these core players are locked up. They have high-end talent. They have a lot of depth. I really like what they did in the NFL draft. They've replenished the cupboard as far as talent goes. They let a lot of veterans and high-praised players go. And I still think this Eagles team is the most complete team in the NFL. And they are built to win in a variety of ways against a variety of opponents stylistically in any type of weather in the trenches. And even if injuries happen somewhere else, they are so deep along the offensive line and defensive line. And at the end of the day, that's going to help you win a lot of games. So the Eagles medical staff has done a great job with Sirianni. And I think that if the Eagles can stay healthy, yes, they can repeat as Super Bowl champs. Yes, I think they can go on a dynastic run. They've been incredibly healthy the last few years. Sometimes that can go the wrong way, and you will have this injury-plagued season where you have injury, misfortune, and bad luck. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And if the Eagles can stay healthy, I think the sky is the limit for this 2025 team. They're battle-tested, even though the schedule is going to be hard. They're better than a lot of these teams. I think they're favored in 15 of 17 games this year. John Galt, another real one chiming in. Will you guys make Tom Downey, host of the Cowboys Report, watch in the studio when the Eagles raise that banner at Lincoln Financial Field in week 1? So what we might have to do is we might have to tap into his live stream on our Cowboys channel to see his reaction of the Eagles hoisting their second banner since 2017 right in front of Jerry Jones. How beautiful is that, and what a flex for the Eagles on opening night. Grade this Eagles roster for me, by the way. We're talking a lot about this Eagles roster on today's show, and do it on the Madden scale. So 1 to 100 is that scale. 1, this roster stinks. 100, it's absolutely elite. Share your thoughts with me down in the comments section right now. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. News, rumors, analysis, reactions, live shows, watch parties. And we do mailbags like this because we care about you, and we always want to chop it up with the Bird Gang. Thanks to everybody for watching. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend by the time that you're watching this. And be on the lookout for more fantastic Eagles content. Peter Thurmond, $20 super chat. I think he saw Paul send in another 20, and he said, I see you, and I raise you one.
Yeah.
Peter Thurmond, what a guy. Thank you, Peter, for that. And then Kelly Gasky, good to hear from you again with the $5 super chat. Oh, it was Dennis Designs, I think, who Peter was reacting to. Dennis! It's been a little while since we've seen Dennis in the chat because we haven't gone live in a while. We've been hyper-focused on producing a lot of content, and I've been a part of a lot of job candidate interviews as we're adding to our team here at Chat Sports. Dennis, what up, Bird Gang? Been out for a while. Nice to see you guys live again. You too, my brother. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's do a new look at our YouTube top fans. Chip, who's at number 3?
That's Kelly. Oh.
Is this a glitch? I think Dennis Design should be number 3.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know why it's just not showing.
With the $20 super chat.
Let me.
So Peter Thurman is number 1. Paul C is at number 2. Kelly Gasky at 4. Is there a tie for 3? Let's refresh it and see what we come up with.
Let me refresh it. It's just it's just not showing number 3.
Lion Fighter is a real one. John Galt, watch parties are the best. I can't wait. Charles Lawrence, 98.75, his grade for the Eagles roster. Kelly Gasky, 96. Nice. Is it not showing number 3?
So Dennis does have the number 3 crown next to his name. You can see that in the chat. So Dennis is number 3, but for whatever reason, is this a new feature for YouTube? So they're probably still working some stuff out. It's just not showing him as number 3.
Yeah.
Which is very, very strange. But Dennis is at number 3. Just for some reason, just not showing.
All right, so here's the deal. We're done with our coverage. Injury news, practice reaction, mailbag. We have 2 minutes left on our Super Chat shot clock. 2 minutes left on our Super Chat shot clock. We are at 178 in Super Chats. Can we get over $200 before we head on out of here? We're $22 away. Now, with Peter's $20 Super Chat and the 20 coming in from Dennis Designs, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! And then since we got 2 of those 20s, we'll give you a Go Birds as well. Big Dom. Who's your breakout star for this year? Moro Ajomo. John Galt, go get some sushi with bacon on top, of course. Yeah, the sushi spot that we're going to with a couple of new hires, it's A1. It's fantastic.
Excited. We can actually show, so it sucks that Dennis's name isn't showing here, but I think I can actually go through.
Yeah, we can
go
scroll
through
down,
some of the other top people here. So we obviously got Peter and Paul 1, 2. Dennis is 3. Dennis got that
Dennis
badge.
is number 3.
Um,
He's got the badge.
It's just so strange. But we got Kelly Gasky at 4. Fazell Mack in there at 5. Balwan at 6. I like the Billy Blue Bills at 7.
Yo, Dennis, another 20. We're $2 away from 200 in supers. 30 seconds to go on our 2-minute super chat shot clock. Who's going to get us over 200? How are the newest guys doing? How do you feel? We'll make the team and play like a beast. So I think Jihaad Campbell's going to be a really good player. I think Andrew Nakobe is going to be a really good player. I like Drew Kendall already as a backup center. We'll see what happens with Mac McWilliams. Haven't heard a lot about him. I like Kyle McCord as QB3. I think he's going to beat out Dorian Thompson-Robinson. And so I'm excited about some of those newcomers. Cameron Williams, Miles Hinton, as 6th-round picks along the offensive line alongside Drew Kendall. Howie has just added so much depth to this offensive line where even if the Eagles have injuries up front in the trenches offensively, they're going to be able to survive. So I'm excited. As for the new guys here at Chat Sports, Dennis, if that's what you meant as well, we have some good young prospects here at Chat Sports who are doing well. I was employee 8 back in 2021. We're about to be over 40, which is insane. And a lot of that, thanks to all of your support here on Eagles Now. All right, $2 away from 200 in Super Chats. Last call.
Baby.
Can we get over that number? Last call. And we'll give Dennis another E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! Kelly Gasky gets us over. Go Birds! Love it, Kelly. Thank you so much for that. We'll pop up that super chat, and then we'll head on out of here. We got to go get some lunch. Paul C! Another 2. That gets us at 202 in Super Chats. Hey, so great to be live once again here on Eagles Now, reacting to the first practice of training camp. Awesome, awesome stuff. Can't tell you how much we appreciate your support, and I think that today's show, a sign of things to come. That our season here on Eagles Now is going to be jam-packed, so entertaining, so fun, and of course, we're going to continue to give you insightful, entertaining, and informative coverage. So we're going to hop on out of here. In case you missed our live show, you're just tuning in, you can go back and watch it. I'm also going to be putting up another video on Eagles Now here momentarily, talking about injury news and our training camp practice reaction. So be on the lookout for that. Hit that sub button. Hit that bell icon. Therefore, anytime we go live, anytime we push out a show, you'll be notified. For Chip, I'm Chase. For the legends, the real ones in the Bird Gang, we're out. Go Birds.